this is my son, Kyle.
How old are you, Kyle?
17 years of age.
Do you take photography like your mum?
Yes, I do actually.
You do? Sure. And so we're here at the Steel Gallery in Pukekohe, where Denise has an exhibition which is part of the Auckland Festival of Photography. And so we've come to talk to Denise and Kyle about Denise's work, her photography, and everything around that. So perhaps you might start with telling us a bit about how you got engaged with photography and what's led you to this point.
Okay, I started taking photographs when I was 10, I think standard 4. And we had the old Hanamix camera with the old flash on it. That's where I began. My mum supported me there, and back then it was like $30 to produce the photos. God, that was so expensive back then. But that's where I started, and I just carried on. And then each stage of my life, you know, there's some times when I went from, you know, kids to mates to other mates, and at that time we were gangs photos. Got lots of that. That was really interesting. And then as I progressed to kids, having my kids, there's so many of my kids. And then I got passionate about, like, my home is an open home. My son has many friends, and we welcome them in.
It's a very relaxing, they feel very welcome. They like it there. They always come. They're there every day.
And I think you see that in that.
No, it's okay. We offer kai, which is green jam, cup of Milo, you know, whatever we have, we share with all these kids. And we've got, that's like our whānau now is all of the friends that come over. Yeah, that's.
And so your exhibition, Rangatahi Matters, so what you're just talking about there is what your exhibition is all about?
Yeah, exactly. It's about these teens, young men.
What we're going through and what we have to put up with every single day. And just shows that when we're at our house, it shows that we can relax. It's fine. We're sweet. We're safe. We can do anything we want here. It's comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. And if we look at these images, me and you will relate to this. At Tangi's, we all sat in cars. We didn't get out. These kids are the same. You know, they're not being taught that. It's really quite neat for me to capture that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing 40 years ago, sitting in the car.
It's funny you should mention that, Denise, because when I first looked around at your exhibition, that's the feeling I got. This is old school Māori style.
Yeah.
You know, it reminded me of when I was a child and when I was growing up with my family. Setting, what's happening.
Yeah, well, look at our washing line.
It's always active.
And I want these young men to feel what I feel for them. The aroha we have is just, you know, a couple of them, our star boys have gone away to work. And we miss them, we so miss them. But when they come home, it's like, the boys are home. And these guys are all happy. It's really, it's awesome.
And so how did you get involved with the Festival of Photography and also putting together this particular exhibition?
Okay, well, my sister-in-law was having an exhibition next door last year or the year before, and I come in and took photos, like you suggested you would have done for me. And the lady, Nancy, said to me, "Oh my gosh, this is so good. What else do you do?" And I said, "Well, you know, the tamariki, the rangatahi, all these were matter to me." And she goes, "Look, can you bring some in?" Brought them in. She goes, "Oh my God, let's do it." And you know, I must say, in the last 2 years, we've lost a husband, kid's father, my father, and also our dog that was with us for 12 years, all within months. And that was very intense, those months.
Very hard, very hard.
But through it, our photos, as you'll see, these are all through that last couple of years. You know, so that was pretty hard. And I forgot what you asked me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You are a Franklin resident, Pukekohe?
Yeah, I'm not from here. I'm from Takahiwa in Auckland, Rangatahi. We moved here when I was 15. So yeah, but I call this, I guess, second home. because I've been here for
This is mine, man.
yeah, these kids are all born here. We have 6 kids, so I have 6 kids, and they're all born here.
And so, Kyle,
Yeah.
you feature in a lot of the
Yes,
photographs
yeah,
that
yeah.
we'll go and have a look at in a minute.
Yeah.
But what's your interest? Are you a photographer? Do you want to be an artist? Where are you at,
A
Kyle?
whole lot of things. I want to be a whole lot of things actually. Well, photography, I love it. The photo, obviously, they're powerful way. Every single photo is very powerful, which I like that, and which it's an incredible way. So, I'm not too sure yet. I'd like to be an actor.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Well, his photos on the back of the bus.
Yeah, up in Auckland. Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's on the flags in the city, and he's
Really?
also on the silo. So,
Really?
Nice.
They
Down on the
chose-
silo down the bottom of town?
yeah, down at the silo 6.
Look, we're going down there to do the
Perfect.
Fukushima dolls along the
Oh,
Queen's
yeah,
Wharf, so
yeah,
I'll make sure I go around and capture
Yeah,
your image
yeah.
to put in
And he's
with
on
this.
the flags, and he's actually on the bus that does the Queen Street, K Road, and then back down to the waterfront. Yeah, they chose that image there.
So they took that one there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is on the cover of the doc.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
document.
yes, yes.
And I'll grab that. So it's sounding like creative arts for you, Kyle.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, being engaged with photography around your mum and perhaps aspiring to become an actor.
Well, he's so, yeah,
That
that's
photo?
that one there.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very natural.
Yeah.
We went to the opening of the festival. And I thought, yeah, we need to do this.
Unreal. And so how do you feel about being part of a huge
Oh, it was
artistic
overwhelming at the
feature?
start, because Kyle said, Mum, what? Where's my picture? And I said, yeah, well, I didn't expect that. But then it rolled into like, wow.
I really got it. You know, I understood what that photo was doing and what it meant.
Yeah, because at the beginning, you were
Yeah, I
a
was
bit
a
like,
bit like, whoa.
Mum, what
I
are
don't
you
want to be on
doing?
the back of the bus, but
No.
now I understand it now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because they tell so many stories, photos.
Yeah.
They do.
Powerful.
They do, and I'm looking forward to move very shortly and go and have a chat, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
some of these photos and what's going
Yes.
on in there. Excuse me. What's your hope about all of this, Denise?
Well, in between, like, showing that these kids are awesome young men that have got great potential, was to also bring it out that, you know, a lot of kids aren't happy. A lot of kids are going
They
through.
hide it. They hide it as well. Very well. They hide it very well.
I'd love to work with Mike King because I think he's doing such an amazing job, because that's where was one of my thoughts too, you know, not these boys, but there is boys out there that haven't got the support where they can come to my home and,
Exactly.
hey, let's talk.
So could I say then that a lot of this work is about expressing the positivity that's going
Yes,
on
yes.
as much as
Yeah.
actually taking a photo?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and it's not, these aren't staged. There's no
No, they're
stage
not.
whatsoever. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And that's what I'd like to take, you know. I don't know how to go home and do what do you call it? Facebook.
Portraits or
What is it called?
Photoshop.
Photoshop.
Right.
I don't know any of that. But so my pictures are, hey, this is,
the real McCoy.
Totally.
yeah.
Untouched,
Untouched.
unedited.
Yeah.
And so then all the art's got to be in the eye of the photographer.
Yeah, and I've got to get it right, because I tell you what, you take 1,000 images and you might get away with 2. Is that okay?
All artists end up with the same question. So the cost of your work in terms of time, money, and so on.
For me, I'll be honest, there is no money. I had to, me and Nancy, we were sitting here and said, how are we going to get these pictures printed? Because as you can imagine, it's expensive. And so what I had to, what we ended up doing is the council printed these for me, so the picture, like the paper's nothing like what other photographers would display their work on. But for me, it was like, who cares? These are my my family, you know, and we are going to just put our message up.
Yeah.
You know, it's
So is there an artistic statement in that the photos are not staged? What's being portrayed in the photos is real life?
Real life.
And it doesn't need the big glossy art thing to try and carry that.
You know, and that's how I felt in the end. You know, of course I wanted the best paper, the $1,000 print paper. Of course I did. But then I thought, you know what, it's not about that. It's about my message of my sons, my whānau and their matter. And they don't have to be glorified with the top paper. So you know what, I got off my high pitch and thought, I can do it. Let's just do that and go with that.
And so you touched on, Kyle, a little bit about perhaps you might have felt a little bit uncomfortable initially about the photo being used on the bus and so on. What about the rest of the rangatahi in the photos with you? Is there any feeling of uncomfortability or shyness
not at all.
camera? Or
They were so proud of
It was nothing
themselves.
like that. It was nothing like that.
I so wish you were
why do you
here.
think that is? Is it because it's your mum taking photos, or is it just the...
Nah, that's just how we are. That's how me and all my boys are. That's just how we are. That's how we are.
And they trust me, I think.
Yeah, and we got a lot of trust here. A lot of trust.
Oh, it's mum. Yeah, she's all right. Carry on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, awesome. Shall we just cut and then we'll
go
do it
with
that way? But I just wanted to touch on the opening of the exhibition. Denise, you were just saying how special that was.
Oh, it was such... I cried. You know, I had... not even my wildest dreams thought it would have been that powerful, eh? It was just... Alfred, when he brought us in, and it was just the ways of, you know, we touched the walls and lifting tapu and bringing it.
You can feel it.
It was just...
You feel the presence. Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel it really
And he
strong.
brought us in, we come in, and then had koreo, you know, and he blessed you. Yeah, it was just... Then I had to do a talk, and I was like, is you going to leave dinner like now? And I just went, you know, I just flew. I was just like, well, and acknowledged the boys, or the young men, and then they started doing the haka. And then I cried. It's like, oh.
Was that planned, the haka, or was that just...
Me and my boys, we just wanted to do it. That was
yeah.
nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
because for starters, getting young men up Saturday morning, I honestly thought maybe 2 or 3 might come. They all could come that are in these photos, and I was just like, you know, really, God, it was just startled. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So
It
that
was.
becomes a special part of the whole process and the exhibition
For
itself.
me, that was probably that part, is when those boys acknowledged me back and were like, and there's a couple of Pākehā boys, they didn't know the haka, but they stood there.
Yeah,
And I
they didn't
thought,
leave
a lot
us.
of people leave, you know, they like, oh, we're back off. They stood there like this, you know, and I was going, oh, and I was just crying. And when we finished, we gave them all a big hug, because like, it was just amazing. Oh, make me teary-eyed thinking about it.
So we were talking about Kyle appearing on a bus in Auckland. And could you take us through the
Yes.
picture that they are using?
Yeah, this is the picture that they chose, and they were explaining to me there was thousands, as you can imagine, images that had come in. And I think they chose 5 or something like that, and they chose Kyle as to be one of the main picks. Went on the Auckland bus. It's actually on the flags and on that side of the silo on a flag. So I was very proud. Not of my work, of my son. I think that's what it was. I was proud of my son.
The selection panel that chose the photos that they were going to use for promos and that, did they give you any explanation or reason why they particularly like
They
that?
all just zoomed in on that thing. They just, wow, it was very powerful to them. You know, because it was foggy, it was, I enjoyed that, it was just something about that night. And then and the phone, because that's what kids do, you know, it's the phone. It was just,
And you were saying that it's none of these have been framed
It's
or
all
staged.
no.
And
No.
so, what do you see before you took that photo, Denise?
Well, it was, Kyle's just standing there, you know, just mucking around. This is on the top of our driveway on the road. And I thought, you know, kids always play on the road, but you don't see that anymore. These guys will play on the road. And he was just standing there, and then I looked at him and I stood back and I went, wow, what is this guy thinking? You know, what thoughts?
And then I looked, and there my mom was with the camera, and she snapped the photo.
I took quite a few there. Obviously, like I told you, if we can take 1,001 might not work. And that's...
Actually, I didn't even know she was up there at the moment, yeah. I mean, I looked at her and she took that photo, yeah.
Because you don't want them to know, otherwise you get the pose looks. That's not real. This one, you know, I just say, look, bam, and you win.
What was your feeling about going on the side of the bus and on the flags and on the front cover of the brochures?
Well, at the start, I wasn't very confident with it. No, I wasn't. I wasn't comfortable of seeing my face on the back of a bus, on a book. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable. But then I got to understand of it, of why we were doing this and how powerful it was. So I went along with it, and I'm glad I did. I'm very glad I did. Because it's very powerful. It's very powerful.
I thought it brought some mana for him too. That's how I felt.
It did.
You know, it was almost like you're going from a young one to a, you know, teen. Like I thought, wow, I was very proud.
And of course the light speaks so much in that. The way that you've actually framed, caught all of that light in there, which makes the picture, doesn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
And what about over here? This next thing here with all the boys in the truck. It's a totally different image and a totally different feel.
Yeah, it is.
We were parked outside one of our, obviously one of the boys' houses, and we were just, it was like on a grass roundabout, we all just sat there, and then we were all in the trucks just chilling once again, there was just us doing our thing.
And I'm lucky that they feel comfortable, you know, because a lot of people just get stopped, don't do that. But I said, right, I'm just going to walk around, carry on, and they can carry on because it's mum, you know, it's all right.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and a lot of these images they were being silly.
Yeah, this was like a Friday, so.
You know, being silly, you know, but I captured that one and I thought, wow, it's such a piles in the bag, and you know, Conrad's like, yay.
Yeah, happy.
Yeah.
And it does, it looks like really some nice energy going on there.
Yeah, good one.
That dude used to fun up, he's just so photogenic and smart. Maybe you'd like to walk us around the...
Okay, well this one here is our backyard. Now I must say why I included this one, for two reasons. A, because it's capturing the kids. You know, we're on our motorbike, we can't go
Obviously,
far.
I was much younger there too.
Yeah. And you've got the, you know, that's our typical backyard. But this particular picture, my husband was still alive, my dad was still alive, and our dog was still with us. So that picture there not only captured our Rangatahi, but also my, you know, the kids' dads. He was alive. So that's an important picture to me.
And,
Right, we'll go around quickly. These are Kyle's friends. You know, we're all hanging out.
This one here, like Caleb, I don't know what he was doing, but there was something, he was down that day, I could tell. Probably, I don't know if you can't tell in that photo, but I could tell that day. Which then, I cheered him up.
He was just chilling out.
He was like really, he was low that day.
and I can see that in the photo too.
Yeah,
It's a little
okay.
bit wistful.
Yes, yeah.
And this is just the boys
Yeah.
up the top, just like.
Just come over and say hello. And then this one here, this is after school.
And so this is just sort of like what happens in your life being at home.
Yes, being at home. Yeah.
Nothing special, nothing.
No, nothing special. It's just, see, I mean, now look at this. This is so not staged. This is our backyard. And I laughed because I said to them, why would you want to put this up? And I've got all these sons and boys, and nobody knows them. Yeah, this is the car they hang out in.
This one here, obviously, you can see what we're doing. But
Yeah.
that's just us once again.
I know.
That's just us once again.
Yeah.
Is
This
this
is the main
from that
yeah,
picture?
It's in most of these pictures. Is this.
Oh right.
The prop with the...
Yes.
Yeah.
And the chair over there. You know, they're just putting their chairs around and...
We're just running out of
Yes.
films. I can also ask you about that one there particularly. What's going on with that photo?
No, this, he's He's got a very unstable history. His life is very, thanks to his parents, and when
He's very different, very, very different.
Yeah.
But he was like us, which was
we
weird.
try to bring this one in and help him, but sometimes you can't help everybody.
Can I just say then, you've caught that in that photo, because when I came in here and I've had a look around and again when I look today, and there is just something about that photo that is a little bit different view, different
It's
sense.
a dark one, this
Some of
one.
the others.
This one's a little bit more. But this was also why I chose to put this one is because it brings you back down to okay, there is some sadness. The feelings aren't all good, like the rest of them you can feel. But you've got them opposite, they're kind of like this boy wasn't in a good space. So I wanted to put that in the mix too because it's not always good.
But I'm taking it that even these guys, when they are in that particular frame at that particular time, are finding comfort.
Yes.
Solace and
Yeah.
Rangatahi or simply by being in the backyard or with it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
One other thing, Denise.
Yes.
Your book here.
Yes, this is my book. I put a few of these together because I wanted to put them in a book where you could keep them. Because obviously when this is finished, I take these photos home and I'm going to share with the kids, but this book is, it's about my, it's about the exhibition. I guess for me keepsake too, but for anybody else that would like to look at these images, it's the images on the wall.
And I really like how you actually haven't got captions because that allows me as a viewer to see what's in that picture without being told what to look for.
Yeah, exactly. Because someone said to me, "Oh, you just put boy on bike," but I don't believe you put boy on bike. This boy has a name. There's this boy. You just don't put boy on bike. That's what I believe. That's how I feel. So I've captured ones on the wall are in here, but also at the back here, have acknowledged the boys and thanked people. Because they mean things. These boys are, they need to be acknowledged for the go for it. These are photos that didn't quite make it to the cards. So I thought I needed to add those for me in the back. So there's a prime example of the washing line again, the string. If you remember that, Marcus, the string.
Absolutely. And the old prop ones.
Yeah, we had that, yes. My mum was good at that. So that's my book.
And how would we go about if we wanted to get hold of... Oh, here we go. If we wanted to get hold of the book, how would we go about doing that, perhaps?
Or through me, Marcus?
Yeah. So if I get some contact details off you...
Yes, for sure. And then you can purchase this book. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
What about you, Carl? Can I get your autograph now?
No, just thank you to my mom. That's about it.
And I'd like to continue this because I'm not a psychologist, but I want to help.
Yeah.
I want to do more photography, do more photos with these people, these kids,
She wants to help that much, it gets quite annoying sometimes.
But I can see how you sort of created like a hub and that's stores energy and stuff coming from this place, so why not people feel attracted to that?
And we're very welcoming, and there's two more brothers after Kyle that will be, I guess, the next generation of who's sitting on this car, what car will it be then, and we used to sit in the Zephyrs, all the old Valiants and all that sort of car. Yes, it is a bit more updated now.
Right. And of course, being connected with the Auckland Festival of Photography, I would imagine that there'll be a lot of positivity and hookups and networks and
I
stuff that will
I
result
would
as a,
hope so,
through that process.
because it's a message.
Yeah, it is a powerful message.
I want to, yeah.
And just keep giving you the inspiration to keep working.
Oh,
with this.
definitely. Oh, how many photos have already taken?
Yeah.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like I said, I've been out for Matariki, and I want to do this. You know, bring these kids out there.
So are you working on a collection for Matariki or something?
Yes, yeah, at the moment, yes, yeah. So hopefully that'll get out there at the Papakura Library.
Cool.
Yeah.
Give us a ring and let us know. We'll come along.
Yes,
Yes.
focus, yeah.
Oh, no, nice. Any last things you'd like to add?
That's about it. I think we
To acknowledge the Rangatahi, they matter.
Yeah, no, and our thanks to the Rangatahi, but also to you too, Denise, for your eye,
Thank you.
for your eye and your muscle. But and I think all of that reflects in these cards.
Exactly,
Hopefully
yes.
you can see all of that coming through these books.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I love them.
Thank you both for that, and you too, Kyle,
Yes. You're welcome.
for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Cool with you?
Yeah.